Good day, everyone. Today we are going to discuss our assigned topic, the interrelationship of contemporary, popular, and emergent literature. My part is to discuss the contemporary literature, and later on, popular and emergent will be discussed by my co-reporters. Contemporary literature developed right after World War II. It emerged during a time of global recovery and it reflects the social, psychological, and emotional challenges of the modern world. While some see it as an extension of postmodern literature, others view it as its own unique era because of its distinct themes and narrative styles. So, what exactly is contemporary literature? So, contemporary literature refers to works written from the 1940s up to these days. It includes both poetry and prose, like novels, short stories, and plays. But it's not just about when a story was written. So in writing a piece, it must meet a certain standards. First, it should be beautifully written. Next, it should be socially relevant. And lastly, it should be emotionally engaging. So, in other words, contemporary literature connects deeply with the reader while also reflecting the realities of the time. Contemporary literature isn't limited to just one form. It spans across the variety of genres, all of which help writers express modern themes in different ways. Aside from traditional novels and poetry, we also see flash fiction and short stories, dramatic plays, memoirs and autobiographies, and even creative nonfiction, which tells two story, true stories using literary techniques. This mix shows how contemporary authors experiment with different forms to express their ideas. Now, let's move on to the key characteristics of contemporary literature. These features helps us identify what makes a work part of this literary period. First, we have reality-based stories. This means the events in the story are believable and often reflect real-life experiences. Authors focus on problems or situations we might face ourselves, which makes the stories more relatable. Next is modern settings. These stories typically happen in present day environments like cities, towns, or even familiar institutions such as school or workplaces. These help ground the story in the current world we live in. Following that is character driven plots. Instead of relying on major external events to move the story forward, contemporary literature tends to focus on a character's thoughts, decisions, and emotional growth. The inner world of the character becomes the main force behind the plot. Another important trait is emotional honesty. Writers in the period often deal with deep, sometimes difficult feelings like grief, anxiety, or loneliness. The writing is raw and sincere, which allows readers to connect more deeply with the characters. And finally, limited use of science fiction or fantasy. Unlike genres that rely on magic or futuristic elements, contemporary literature stays close to reality. This doesn't mean the stories are dull, it means they're rooted in real human experiences, not the supernatural. So, in summary, this characteristic shows that contemporary literature is focused on real people, real problems, and emotional truth, all grounded in the modern world. The trauma of World War II left a huge mark on writers during this time. Even though the world entered a period of economic growth, authors still wrote about pain, disillusionment, and personal struggles. So many contemporary works blend modern voices with darker, more serious themes, creating stories that are both powerful and deeply human. Let's look at a few notable examples. First, The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. It's set in the 1950s and follows Holden Caulfield, a teenage boy facing mental and emotional struggles. His honesty and confusion make him one of the most iconic characters in American literature. Next, Rabbit Run by John Updike. This novel explores the life of Robert Angstrom, a man who runs away from his responsibilities in search of meaning and freedom. It captures the frustration and inner conflict of the post-war era. And lastly, Beloved by Toni Morrison. Although it is published later in 1987, but it still fits within contemporary literature. It tells a story of Seth, a former slave haunted by her past. The novel dives into the psychological scars left by slavery and motherhood. In conclusion, contemporary literature captures the complexities of real life and human emotion. It shows us how literature evolves with society responding to historical events, personal struggles, and cultural changes. That's all.
So, hello everyone. So now, let us discuss about the popular literature. So, this is my assigned topic. So, when we say popular literature, it is refers to books that are widely read and accessible to the general public. It encompasses a variety of genres such as horror, crime, detective fictions, romance, westerns, science fictions, and fantasy. So these are the genres that are related to popular literature. Popular literature gained prominence in the 19th and 20th centuries, partly due to increased literacy rates and more affordable printing, so making books accessible to middle and lower class readers. So, in other words, a popular literature is written for a wide audience, focusing on entertainment rather than artistic or scholarly value. It uses a simple language and includes genres, as what I said earlier, like romance, horror, fantasy, science fictions. I have here an example stories of popular literature. So first is the stories of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. So it is a novel that blends horror and science fiction, telling the story of a scientist who creates a creatures, highlighting themes of isolation. So the theme of isolations, the ethics and the consequences of scientific experimentation. So this is the story of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and also the story of To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. So it is a poignant explorations of racial injustice in the American South. So this is about the American South, so offering both social commentary and a coming of age story that remains highly influential. And also the third um, examples of the popular literature, which is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. So it is a novel that critiques the American dream, which is exploring themes of wealth, love, and societal expectations in the 1920s in America. So these three famous stories are the examples of popular literature.
So these are the continuation of the interrelationship of contemporary, popular, and emergent. Emergent. Emergent literature, which emerged in 21st century, is heavily influenced by digital age, technology, and internet. It embraced a new format such as hypertext fiction, interactive narratives, poetry, and text message fiction. It utilized platforms like social media to create a new forms of expressions where communication styles are shaped by interactivity. So these are the three examples. First is the tribulation of Cashier, second Spork, and third is science fiction and resurgence. Tribulation of a Cashier, a humorous memoir that provides insight in modern-day challenge of the low-wage workers. Written in a contemporary styles resonate with the digital generations. So, uh, this work might also touch an emotional uh, and psychological impact of this type of work on individuals, shedding light of human side of cashiers beyond their transactional rules. So second one is work, a coming of age stories explores identity and societal norms. It reflects modern concerns such as gender and belonging, showcasing how these are depicted into digital era. So uh, this includes the self acceptance, then friendship and empowerment. Overall, Spark Stories promote themes are relevant people's lives today, including self acceptance, empathy, resilience, and individuality. And the last one is science fiction and resurgence. Modern sci fi works exploring themes, technology, humanity, and the future, often combining the speculative imaginations of earlier periods with contemporary concerns about technology and society. So, this resurgence has led to a surge in innovative storytelling, diverse perspective, and throughout provoking themes captivating uh, audience worldwide.